Hey, alright, final stage of photorealistic 3D rendering image production. I'm gonna show you some special software that I kept to this very last, and this is the Crème De La Crème of this entire workshop. This software is completely for free, so stay along and I'll show you how you can make your images look like real photos. So this is the final result of my image. If we zoom in a little bit here, we can see that the detail is pretty good. It's all looking sharp, and we're getting a little noise and a little grain, which we get in the photos, but not everywhere, only in dark places. And here on the wall, it's pretty clean. The floor looks also pretty clean. We got nice ambient occlusion going on here, and a good light follow through, very soft shadows. I'm using special HDRI method to light up this scene, and some V-Ray lights, so no direct light, no V-Ray sun. Okay, and I'm adding some filters to boost up my lights, the artificial lights here to glow. And let me show you, if I hide this, this is how my image look like without the color, without the special software. Okay, so this is the basic stage that I'm bringing my image to, and then I'm boosting it up by adding those cool effects, which making it look really photographic. Okay, so I'm gonna hide this, and let me just give you a sneak peek into my working process. So I'm gonna hide all of those assembly layers here. So I start from this one. This is a basic render, which doesn't look pretty bad, but it's lacking of contrast and some directional lights and levels, curves. This is what I do in order to boost it up. But first thing first, what I do is I use my special technique to assemble passes. It's something that I developed throughout the years, and I'm using those V-Ray render elements in order to boost my entire image up. So let me show you those guys here. First, I add some ambient occlusion. You can see nice soft shadows. Then I'm adding some depth to it, adding reflections, refractions, filters, some lighting effects, and at the end I'm adding another layer of ambient occlusion on top of it with some color correction to it. I'm giving it like a bluish tone. When I'm done with my passes assembly, I go and I add some color correction to light it up, to bring the contrast back. After I've done with that, I'm adding some adjustment layers to fix up my floor. So I isolate those. I use different techniques to isolate elements and work with each element individually. Later on, I'm bringing the reflections of the floor, and I'm fixing other little fixtures here. And I'm all on top of my color correction. I'm doing another layer adjustment just to fix the lighting and the door. So you can see I'm using a lot of coloring techniques to get the right color to my walls and my doors, so that the light will work there properly. Then I'm adding some lighting effects. That's my light effects. Let me just move this to the side so we can see the entire image. So I'm fixing my lighting effects, and you can see that the window also got fixed. And the window, I'm using another cool thing. I'm using a little bump so we don't get straight lines. You can see the lines a little bit curved here. This is what happening to the old windows. They all get they don't have this perfect reflection. So adding slightly bump to your glass will give this realistic glass effect. Okay, and upon this, when I'm added my lighting effects, I go into the NIK software, and I'm adding this final effect that brings my image to the photorealistic level. We can see the quality is pretty good. It's all very sharp looking, and the light's working well. The bluish here with the yellowish, the combination of both creating this really great effect of impression, doing the really good impression on your client. Okay, so if you go to Google NIK collection, you can download this, and it's got a bunch of software. Analog Color Effects Pro is what I use. Silver Effects, it's got the whole package, so you can download it. And after installing it, you'll be able to get that in your filters here. So Let me just hide this. I'm going to Control Shift Alt E, create everything from below, just in case I'm not screwing up anything. And here I can apply my NIK color effects. So I'm gonna press that, and it's gonna come up. That's the effect. You can see I already saved the recipe for this. So I can, every time I'm gonna create a new image, I'm gonna reuse my setup that I did. So my setup is here. I also marked those effects that I did. I put stars to it, and we'll be able to find those effects in the favorites. So this is my favorites effect list. But besides that, we can see that we have landscape, we have wedding, we have architecture, travel, portrait, nature. We have a bunch of presets of combination of those effects. Okay, so if I click all, and I'll discard this, my last effect, I'll be able to get the image without the effects. Okay, so this is the pure render, which is also looking pretty good. But now let's see how we can boost it up. So let's go effect by one and see how we can use them. Okay, so BI color. So on the left hand side we have the effects, on the right hand side we have their controllers, and see how we can apply them to the image. So maybe this one is not that. But it's working pretty cool. So in order to enhance a little bit the presence of bluish, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna add that effect, even though I didn't add it at the beginning. Okay. All right, so pretty cool. When we're done, we can add filter and go to the next one. Brilliance warmth. You can hide and unhide. So it kind of tones a little bit our image down. We can add a little bit of warmth here. Add filter. Let's go classic, soft. It's a little bit too soft, so we can reduce the strength. Work the balance here. And here we have the opacity control. So let's leave it somewhere here. Nice glowy effect. Add filter. After classical, we go stylized, contrast color range. Let's fix the contrast a little bit here. Bring it somewhere here. You can also work the shadows and work the highlights. Now, important to notice that for every filter that we apply here, let's go to the next one. Contrast only. Okay, so for every filter, we have also different presets. If we click on the preset here, we can go inside and explore those different contrast options. So as you see, it's very wide range software that got a lot of cool tools that will help you fix your image instantly without putting too much effort to it. That's what I like about this. So if it's too contrasty, we can mellow it down a little bit by adding that effect of softness. All right, add filter. So maybe the contrast color is a little bit too much. Let's go to control panel, bring it here, fix it, go back, and contrast only. Let's keep going. Cross balance, cross processing. This is a really cool filter here. Gives us a really nice effect. Let's go to the next one. Add filter, dark contrast, dark and lighter center. This is more or less like vignetting, kind of fix We're gonna add some vignette at the end. This is kind of brings a little bit light up our center of the image here. So we can do that. Add this. Let's go dark and light and center. Details enhancer. So this one is really awesome. It brings all the detail out of your image. Also brings some noise, what I noticed. But let's remove the saturation here. Somewhere about here. And fix that. Okay, pretty cool. You can also do comparison, how it was, by putting 1 to 1. Alright, add filter, move to the next one. Duplex. We're not gonna use dynamic skin softer. This is like for skin. If you have any people inside, you can fix it. Basically for photographers. Different film effects, grain, fog. We don't need any grain. I want to stay pretty clean with our images. Glamour glow. I like this one. Let's go see what are the options that they have there. This looks pretty cool. It kind of adds more bluish tones to this. So let's work with it. Let's add a little glow, a little color, and a warmth here. Okay, so before and after, nice and glowy. And let's fix that somewhere here. Add filter. Okay, let's go back. Gradient filters, gradient fog. If we want to lighten up our ceiling, natural density. So this is also cool. I can fix my ceiling if it's too dark, and I can bring contrast to my floor to balance it better. So you can see we go from this to this. That's the shift. And I'm gonna put the dark corner here on top and the light corner down here, because the sun hits the floor and it bounces up, fills up the room, but the farther parts here are always going to get dark. Alright, so this is what we did to this image. We also can fix it a little bit, not that dark, so somewhere here. Okay, add filter. Let's go to the next one. Gradient user, high key. None of those are going to be used. Framing, if you want. Let's see in framing. You know, some people still like to do that. It kind of gives this nice effect to the image. Oops, that's Indian summer. Let's go to the framing. Image border here. You can see different borders with different effects. Can be easily controlled. We're not going to use that, so I'm going to click on X, remove the image borders. And Indian summer. Kind of cool colorization, but I'm not gonna use it. Ink, very monochromatic. Levels, here we can do the levels and fix all the aspects of our image. Pretty easy stuff. I like to put a lot of dots just to have full control over this whole thing. So we can see it brings the contrast just to the right places. Really good control. Okay, add filter. And let's add the next one. Levels and curves, we did it. Low key, very dramatic look. Midnight, Monday morning, old photo. None of this stuff is beneficial. Pastel colors, photo stylizer, polarization. I use polarization here just to give a little bit more strength here. For the colors. Add filter. Polar on transfer. Pro contrast. It's a good one. It's more or less like the levels one that we did here. But this one brings the contrast a little bit better. Alright. So something like that. Add filter. Reflector effects. Here also we can control if we need to light it up. If we made it a little bit too dark, we can always light it up a little bit better here is to fix the floor and the colors here. Make it feel a little bit lighter, gives this slight traveling effect. The light travels deep inside our interior space. We want to have that side lit, that side in the dark. That's good. Let's bring the controller and affect that like that. Okay, add filter. Now, next one is remove color contrast. This one is to balance this whole thing. So if we want, we can balance it a little bit. It's like bringing the color balance. This image a little saturated here, so I'm bringing down the saturation just to calm it down. And to bring a little bit more of a bluish color, because this is the natural color that comes from the sky, not so yellow. So somewhere here, add sky filter, skylight. This brings the saturation back, so maybe we use it just about it, very minimal. Okay, solarization. Okay, let's add the next one, sunlight here, and a sunlight is very glowy. The effect of a glow is a little bit too much, so let's reduce the strength and go to our control panel and bring that glow. Not too much, because I know many tend to make very glowy images, and that's kind of ruin it when the whole things look like it's in some bloom, foggy atmosphere. Let's add that effect. It's pretty good. And we have some tonal contrast. Vignette filter. Let's add the vignette filter. Somewhere here. Something like this. All right. Add. And we got our collection here full, so we need to get rid of some effects that we don't really need. Color processing. Let's remove this brilliance because we're not really using it. So let's click on the X to remove that. Go down to our Vigneting, lenses, add this filter, white noise, white stabilizer. That's the last one that I do at the end. As you see here, we have blurry edges, and after that comes white neutralizer. This is the white balance. You can see how it balances our image automatically for us. We don't have to figure out mid-tones, high tones, all of that stuff that we do in Photoshop. You have to have really calibrated eye in order to see those colors. With this one, it's much easier. It gives you those controllers, and you can see by clicking on and off, you can see where the image needs to be desaturated and where the color needs to come and play. All right, pretty good stuff. Again, we can control the shadows, the midtones, and if we go, we have different setups here for fixing that. But I'm gonna do Control Z because I'm pretty much satisfied with this one. Okay, now when we done this combination here and we want to repeat it, what we can do, we can click Save Recipe. Give this recipe a name. Let's call it French Scene New. Click OK. All right, so I have mine here, the old one that I did previously, and I have the new one. You can see the old one is a little bit more, got calm colors, and the new one got a little bit stronger colors to it. All right, so when I'm done, I'm gonna click OK. By the way, I always can have those presets here loaded for the next images. Okay, so when I'm done, I'm gonna click OK, and this effect is being added here automatically. All right, saving image, and boom, voila, we're getting our image photorealistically well done. So hide and hide. This is what we got in Photoshop. This is what we got from that effect. That's my result from previous test. And we can mix. If you create a couple of those, you can always mix them and see how it works. Somewhere here actually would work really fine. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. In few days, we're going to open our very basic lighting update. You can bring your scenes where I'm gonna help you directly by giving feedbacks, so that way you'll be able to know exactly what you're doing, and I'll be able to help you more. We're gonna do some live webinars during the weekends, and of course there will be live support in the forum within 24 hours. Okay, so if you like to dial in and explore this thing and train with me directly, you are more than welcome to join our very basic lighting that is upcoming in few days. So click the link below, check it out. This is Alex, your Very Guide. Ciao.